Alright, so we back with another video. Today we got y'all boys with an NBA. I ain't gonna lie, I don't remember I think the last NBA video I did for y'all boys was an NBA mock draft. Y'all enjoyed that, so we coming back with another one. Today we gonna be doing the teams. Now, it's been a couple of games. It's kind of harder to give y'all these consistent, I guess, tier lists. So I gotta get on with ideas so I can give y'all updates on in terms of monthly. So I got the idea. I do this in the NFL where I give you offense and defense tier lists for the teams. We're gonna do that for the NBA. Now, we're not going to do it weekly. We're going to turn these into monthly. So, I'm going to try to get y'all an offense or defense. I'm going to try to get y'all a team. And I'm going to try to get y'all a player. Now, I don't think I'm going to do an entire player tier list every single month. But maybe get, like, top 25. Now, the NBA category video actually did pretty solid. So, I'll probably get y'all more of those as well. I've already hinted to some other things that I can do with that. I can do the older guys. I can do a lot of people that's, like, around Jalen Brunson. That's the best way to really describe it. And, yeah, y'all do want more. Make sure to like. Today we're going to be doing the offense, though. No more talking. Let's get into it. Alright, hopping into it. I have no clue why I gave y'all all my ideas in the intro, but if y'all do want any of those videos to be dropped, show the support. Comment down below. Help the algorithm like. Let's get into it. First things first, we're not going to have no real tiers. I was going to do, like, but it's offense. It's not anything else. So we're gonna rank teams based off how good their actual offense is. Now, some people will look at teams and see the points that they're scoring and think that they have a good offense just because of that. That's not what I'm doing it based off of. I'm doing it based off how the team plays, how easy it is for them to score, and the quality of players. So the main thing that's important on an offense is a hub, a creator. So really a star, I guess you could say. Now, it's a lot of things that can go around that, but that's kind of the most important thing. So if you don't really have that, it's gonna be hard for you to not have. It's gonna be hard for you to be high. And also, we are gonna factor in injuries at the time of recording this, because this is gonna be like a power ranking. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do this monthly, so you should get an offense tier list of the teams monthly. I'm gonna do defense as well. That's gonna be an interesting video in my opinion as well. Let's get into it. The Hawks. The Hawks, in my opinion, are one of the better offensive teams in the league. The issue is defensively. I don't know how to really gauge them. I liked all their pickups in the offseason. I think they've been trying to build this team perfectly around Trae Young for years, to the point that I've been saying last year. I said this last year, and I got hate for it. Jalen Johnson is the best player on the Hawks. People didn't agree with me. Jalen Johnson is the best player on the Hawks. And I think a lot of people agree with me. I've been seeing even people say, let's trade Trae Young. That should have been happening even before Jalen Johnson even was going crazy like that last year before the injury. So I do think people are starting to see that, but I think offensively, Trae Young only makes it better. I do think him and Jalen Johnson can play together very well. I don't think Jalen Johnson needs Trae. I don't think Trae needs Jalen Johnson, but I do think they can work really well together. Am I calling him Trae Johnson? Trae Young. I don't know what the hell is going on. Trae Young is one of the best offensive players in the league. He's a volume PG. He's not an efficient PG, but he is very good at what he does. Now, he's going to miss a lot of shots. He's going to get a lot of turnovers. And when you have a guy of the caliber of Jalen Johnson, in my opinion, I don't think you want a volume PG. You want more of an efficient PG, playmaking PG, which we'll get into later. So I do think that can hurt them sometimes. But Trae Young, what really is going to help them in terms of the Hawks, if he does stay, most importantly, is in the clutch. I do think there's some games where in the clutch, when he's not playing, you can watch the Hawks games and they kind of do some kind of troll things offensively, defensively. I don't really understand why they're not better without Trae in some of them games. To start, they were really good. They had a really good stretch, but then they kind of simmered down. I think they kind of started playing with pace so consistently that it's kind of like wore them down. And we're just in December, by the way. They got to play all the way to April. So Hawks, I'm going to say, is a top 10 offense. I don't know how much further I'm going to go. But these tiers for now are going to fluctuate. So this is how I'm at. Next, we have the Celtics. Now, Celtics, I like Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, I've been saying for years he was debatably with Tatum. I stopped doing that because when Tatum was averaging 30, Tatum was just looking different from that year on. I think he started to regress a little bit scoring-wise, but he was starting to well-round his game, while JB was kind of settling into more of like this two. Before that, though, I thought it was real debates. This year, Jalen Brown, the thing about Jalen Brown and Tatum that pretty much gets underrated, both of them players get better. Now, I do think there are times when they do get overrated, which is just kind of the case that can hurt conversations around players when a large majority of people start overrating somebody. But Jaylen Brown this year has held his end of the bargain fully. And I think people are really sleeping on this Celtics team. People saw before the season how advanced in his Achilles recovery in terms of Tatum. And it's really starting to open people's eyes that the Celtics are probably going to make the playoffs and have a solid seed in the East. So I do think that right now, with that being said, I do think them and the Thunder are on a collision course to make the finals. And I do think the Thunder has probably more comp in the West to stop that from happening, personally. In terms of playoffs, who I trust, yeah. But the Celtics, offensively, in my opinion, is too analytical. I like them more so as a really good defense with a solid base offensively. I don't think their offense is consistent enough for me to put them high, but they're still a good offense. I would probably say the Hawks have a better offense than them, but I do think it's close. I'm going to say top 10. Next, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to be honest, I've talked about this in multiple videos. When it comes to these drafts, I think people overreact too fast. I don't know how bad of a draft this draft is for them yet. It's literally not even halfway through the season. But they picked pretty much 5 playmaking guys. Maybe you could argue some was 3-and-D. Some was more so defensive with some upside of playmaking. But for the most part, a lot of the guys they took in that first round were playmaking guys, no matter what position they were. And I'm going to do a video talking about this in terms of the Thunder, this new blueprint for building teams. Like, there was a point in time where people was talking about the double big and stuff like that. I think that entire blueprint has now evolved when you look at teams like the Spurs and the Thunder. But we're going to make a video about that. Let me make sure I remember to put that in my notes. But when it comes to the Nets, I do think they trying to do something similar to that, but they just don't have the double big part element figured out, in my opinion, where I like Claxton. I've liked him for years, but I think he's a trade piece that I think the Lakers probably going to end up picking up. And that's going to be pretty big for them if they do or can pick him up. But when it comes to having a lot of playmakers, everybody on the court can play make, I kind of think of how the Heat were playing to start the year until I think teams were going to figure them out. But going on national television and speaking on the counters to what they would do depending on what teams do, and then describing how you stop said offense is actually diabolical. As a Heat fan, I can't lie, I seen that in real time and I was in disbelief watching it. That was probably the stupidest shit I've ever seen anything in any sports. But the Nets, in my opinion, I think they're really trying to build an offense of guys that can play around a star. They just don't have a star. But the thing is, I don't know how good defensively that's going to be. But offensively, I like the upside. But for now, I'm going to say 21-25. Then we have the Hornets. Now, the Hornets, on the other hand, actually are a weird team where they have a star in LaMelo. I think he's just... I'm not going to lie. It's kind of rough looking at LaMelo and Lamar this year. Kind of side note on Lamar with NFL. Guys I grew up watching in terms of their journey to the league and all the doubters and then them actually becoming stars when they got into the league. LaMelo right now, he is not playing good. He has not been good at all this year. I don't think he's been the best player on his team this year. Is he the best player overall? Yeah. But this year, right now, today, he is not playing like that. Now, he did just have a good game tonight, I think, against the Hawks. Him and B. Miller. The thing that I've been saying, well, why you probably trade LaMelo if you're the Hornets, is because I'm not going to lie, Khan, I don't think he's a guy you build around, but he's a guy that can stay and be a core piece of a rebuild in terms of his mentality. I think his mentality is just drastically different from LaMelo. I don't know too much about B. Miller in terms of mentality. I feel like LaMelo want to win, but if you watch LaMelo play, to be real, man, it is very, very hard to argue that is winning basketball. So, I don't know, to be real. I think Khan got his issues in terms of, I don't know if he has a lot of upside, but his floor in terms of how he wants to play or how he plays, I do think it's some more consistency there. And then when you have the You put in the injuries with B. Miller and LaMelo, it is just tough to really argue. But in terms of all these guys are here, which they are healthy right now, you do have a very good scorer in B. Miller. Maybe is not consistent with athleticism. Not as good on the ball, but that's what you have LaMelo for. LaMelo, decision making has been a little rocky, but he's a guy that's not going to really be able to get to the rim consistently, but he can get to that floater. He can get the threes off, and he's going to be a good playmaker. Now, his decision making, like I said, can be questionable. And then you have Khan, that's been one of the better shooters in the league this year. A guy that can attack a closeout, and he's been able to score pretty consistently just off that skill set alone. That also can play make a little bit. So you got 3 guys that you can expect to get buckets from. You still got some guys around them. And they play pretty fast as well. I'm going to say the Hornets is 11-20. I think they just need a little bit more consistency, but I'm going to say 11-20. And then we have the Bulls. The Bulls, see, this is the thing I'm saying. The Bulls are a top 10 offense. Their defense is awful. The issue is, are they actually a top 10 offense? I think they don't have the star. I like Giddey. I don't think he's Jalen Johnson. I don't think he's Jaylen Brown or Tatum when he comes back. So I'm going to say for them 11-20. I think they're higher on 11-20, but we'll say that for now. Honestly, I think these are the same tier though. I think they're just better. These two teams are just better offensively. And then we have the Cavs. I'm going to be honest, the Cavs offense is not that good to me. I thought it was overrated last year. Like, when they played the Heat, it was crazy games, but, bro, it was crazy shooting variance. Crazy. Like, the Cavs was hitting all type of crazy shit. Bro, the Cavs, in them last 2 games, they literally played a boxing one on Hero and just let the rest of them niggas just shoot wide open all game. And Hero was having to shoot the craziest shit, and people was going crazy on Hero. Bro, they could not score being left wide open. And the Cavs, on the other hand, couldn't miss. They couldn't miss. So, I ain't gonna lie. I never thought that what the Cavs was doing, I thought they was fake. And then after that happened, I was getting killed for it. But that shit was fake. And we seeing that in real time right now. I think they depend too much on Donovan Mitchell. He is not that level of player. And that kind of is hurting them. Now, I do still think Donovan Mitchell is... It is very interesting that last year Donovan Mitchell was scoring significantly less and they were a better team. I do think that is pretty interesting. But once the playoffs came around, he had to be what he is right now, and they kind of weren't the same team. But they also did have injuries. That's why I give them in the playoffs last year. And Garland just hasn't been as good as last year, which is kind of a big deal as well. I'm going to say right now 11-20. 11-20. Next we have the Mavericks. Mavericks are not a good offense. They're not a good offense. I do think Nembhard has really done a lot for them. I actually like Brandon Williams too. I like a couple guys they got. When Kyrie comes, this is going to change a lot. I think Cooper Flagg is really turning a page, bro. He's starting to get going. Anthony Davis can stay healthy. That's going to be a very interesting team overall. Defensively, we're going to talk about it. That's where they're going to rank really high. But right now, offensively, I can't put them too high. I do think that I like the way that they kind of, because they're such a good defensive team, they play with a slower pace. Kind of how the Heat used to play when they had Jimmy. They play with a slower pace. But, yeah. Then we have the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a weird team this year. Now, I described this earlier. The Nuggets are a weird team because their role players are overperforming this year, which they haven't really had in the last 2 seasons. But the weird thing is, Aaron Gordon, when he was healthy, was shooting ridiculously. And Jamal Murray looks to be back this year. And Jokic is having an all-time efficiency season. So, the Nuggets are a tough one to kind of gauge. Because in the playoffs, the way people are going to guard the Nuggets, they're going to guard them the same way as they have in the previous years, where they're going to do whatever they can to send as many bodies at Jokic. Last year, the meta was pretty much triple team Jokic and don't give a damn about the rest. A lot of people was talking about how Caruso guarded Jokic. As soon as Jokic got anywhere close to the elbow, it was literally people coming from his left, people coming from his right, instantly. If you watch the Clippers series, there would be times Chris Dunn was guarding him. People coming from his left, people coming from his right. Only time I really seen him in the playoffs get guarded one-on-one full possessions. Full possessions. No matter what he did, was against Zubac in the fourth quarter multiple times against the Clippers. And he had one bad quarter where they lost, and the rest of those he was killing. So I really don't know. This is a tough gauge. I do think this is a team that wants to win the possession battles with offensive rebounds. So I gotta gauge offensive rebounds in kind of how I talk about them. But I don't really believe in they role players in terms of shooting. And I don't know if Aaron Gordon is gonna shoot the way he had when he comes back, or I don't think that's real. I think Jamal Murray, Jokic, one of the best two-man games of not just in the league right now, of all time. That's just what it is at this point. But in the playoffs the past 2 years, it ain't really been that. Maybe if it can get back to what it was in 23, it don't really matter if these role players are playing, or if it's fake or not, because that's gonna be back, and that's gonna just make this team as a whole just that much harder to guard. So I'm gonna probably give them the benefit of the doubt over these teams. But it's hard to really. I'll probably give them a full tier over those teams, actually. Thinking about it. Next, we have the Pistons. Pistons are a tough one. I like Cade, but I don't think the Pistons' overall offense is that good. I feel like this team is built to kind of the way that they are playing this year. I think that this is the way that a style that can actually last in the playoffs. It's just some of the people that they're depending on. I don't think is going to work in the playoffs right now. Like Duncan Robinson is a playoff atmosphere player, but the issue with Duncan is he going to be able to put that is he going to be able to be playable in a playoff scenario where people are going to attack him defensively? So I don't know. I'm going to say offensively, though, giving Cade a shooter like Duncan is a big deal because Duncan is one of the best shooters in the league. He's been that for years. And then Duren and Isaiah Stewart have taken steps this year offensively and defensively. I'd probably say the Pistons are here right now. I'd probably say they're right there for now. Then we have the Warriors. The Warriors' offense is not good. It's not. It's just genuinely not good. Shout out to Curry. He's doing whatever he can. Jimmy's been inconsistent as he's always been in the regular season. Today Curry actually had well, I'm not even gonna lie. Curry been pretty inconsistent too this year, but he's been more good than bad. Jimmy just been up and down. It's kind of up and down pretty much every game with Jimmy this year so far. Curry has had his stretch and then bad, and then stretch and then bad. Which, when you shooting the amount of threes Curry is doing, it's gonna kind of happen. So I get it to him, especially when you're getting older. But I'm gonna be honest, Curry's having some crazy performances and losing. It's kind of getting scary over there in Golden State. It's kind of looking like what the Warriors looked like last year, if you remember, before the Jimmy trade. So, and that's with Jimmy right now. So I don't know how to really gauge them too much, but their offense is not. I don't even think last year their offense was what really carried them. I think the defense is what it was, and they had a good offense. Right now they have a genuinely bad offense. I don't even know if you can really say they have a better offense than the Nets right now. I'm just saying for now, because of Curry, I'm going to get them that edge. Next we have the Rockets. Now, I think the Rockets have a Sengun problem personally. I genuinely don't believe in the Rockets at all offensively in the playoffs. I like KD, but the way that they use KD is very odd. It'd be a lot of times where KD will be on the court and Sengun just, bro, I don't know what people be watching. I think people be seeing these stat lines, bro, be having. Bro, I glazed them in the last player ranking, and I said my disclaimer on it. And I'm doubling down, but I don't like it. I don't, like, it kind of give me, it not Sabonis. It's like, he's better than Sabonis. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's better than Sabonis. But, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. Because the thing with Sengun, when he plays good defensive teams, for whatever reason, when he plays guys like Chet, Wemby, he's very good. But he'll have some very head-scratching games against people that he should be dominating, in my opinion. But, I don't know. Sengun a weird player, because I do think he's good, but he kind of is over. It's like the best way to describe it is, I feel like the Rockets feel like Sengun is the number one option, and I do think, playmaking-wise, they probably should play through him. But I'm not going to lie, even playmaking-wise sometimes, I don't know. I do think that Amen has some flaws in terms of playmaking, but I don't know, bro. I genuinely don't know. But scoring, I don't think there's no way around me trying to understand Sengun getting more shots a game than Kevin Durant. There's no way for me to kind of even try to compute this. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I just genuinely don't understand how this is happening so often. And it genuinely almost happens every big game as well. And I'll see people blame KD for not taking as many shots more than being like, what the hell is going on with this Sengun shit? Because this has happened. It happened the first game of the season. It's happening tonight. I don't think this is going to change. Now, I get it. Sengun is the future. But are y'all trying to win this year or are y'all trying to win in the future? And I'm going to be honest, I don't think the Rockets, if they're playing for the future right now, I don't think KD may be the best nigga to have on the team. But I'm going to still probably put y'all 6-10. This is a tough one to rank because, and we talking about possession to possession, this is the epitome of role players on your team I do not trust. I do not trust at all. I like Amen Thompson. I think he can be a little overrated at times, but in terms of his talent and his game is his game. I think he's one of them. He might be the most athletic player in the league, and he actually has some pretty good IQ. Can he shoot? Hell no, he can't at all. But he can get to the rim at will. He can sit in that dunker spot. He can do a lot of things on offense. He can be a playmaker. But it's some things there. KD is KD. Sengun, like I said, I do think he's very good. I just don't think he's the number one scoring option. You can play through him. He can be the primary ball handler. I don't care about that. He probably is your best playmaker. And it probably isn't that close. But I don't really get the shot distribution on a night-to-night basis. Now, that's just me watching from the games I watch. I haven't watched every Rockets game. I'm not even gonna lie, but from the games I watch, it happens. It's happened every single time where it's not even a close. Like, I can see if it's close, but it genuinely don't be even close. So I guess that also does make sense. If you're gonna have the ball in your hands, you're gonna get more shots. But I don't know. And even sometimes with the shots that KD be getting, sometimes be throwing me off too. It's like it'll be times where KD be open, he don't get the ball, and then it'll be times where KD gotta get the ball and then create for himself. That don't really make sense for me. But I don't know. The Rockets are a tough one to rank because they not only have played with really good space. The thing is, transition offense, they're going to be probably the best transition offense in the league, if not the Thunder. It's going to be one of those two. I think at one point the Raptors had that, but I just trust the Rockets to do that a little bit more with guys like Amen Thompson and some of those athletic wings they got. But also, the amount of possessions they going to keep having because of that double big shit they going to do no matter what they got, whether it's Capella or Steven Adams, it's going to be tough to really gauge. I'm going to say they're here. I'm going to say they're there. Next, we got the Pacers. I still think the Pacers have a good offense. I don't think they're that good of a team. I still think they have a good offense. I think they have a good offense in terms of how they play, personally. So, yeah. Next, we have the Clippers. I genuinely don't think the Clippers had that good of an offense this year. I feel like the offense is closer. It's mid, but it's closer to good. Their defense is also mid, too. I think this is just a mid team this year, personally. I don't know if they actually even turn this around. They kind of have to for the league's hope, in my opinion. But because they got Harden, I'll probably give them the edge over some teams, kind of like I did with the Cavs, but I'm going to put them here. Next, we have the Lakers. Lakers are in that tier with the Nuggets. I'm going to be honest, man. This LeBron thing is actually kind of weird. I know he had a good game tonight, but that's... man, if he didn't have a good game tonight against that Jazz defense, I would have got actually concerned. With no Reeves, too, I would have actually kind of got concerned. Like, the games where... Like, the game against the Raptors, that makes sense, especially with how Scotty Barnes was the person guarding him. Scotty Barnes has been very good defensively this year. So, I'm not... Like, especially if you watch LeBron this year... It's not, it's kind of, bro, it's kind of weird, bro. LeBron is genuinely like, I ain't gonna lie, washed is like a derogatory term, but LeBron kind of been washed for years. If you know what washed means, he's not been prime Bron for years. He's been out of his prime for years. So, in my opinion, if you're out your prime, you washed. But this, if you think washed in previous years was derogatory, I don't even know, man. This year, I'm even seeing him in interviews saying he don't even care about basketball on some of this shit. He might genuinely retire. I feel like LeBron the type of person to try to get all the attention his last year. I'm not gonna lie, but he might not do that, bro. I'm gonna be honest. The way he playing this year, I don't know if he play another year. We'll see. Offensively, the thing with the Lakers is I still got in my mind how they played offensively last year in the playoffs. And the thing is, to be in that tier 1, I'm thinking like you gotta be able to play your game against any defense. And that's the thing. I don't think they were bad offensively last year against the Timberwolves. They genuinely couldn't finish games in the fourth quarter against them at Timberwolves defense. Now the Timberwolves do have one of the better defenses in the league, especially last year. So I don't know how to really gauge that one. To be real, I don't. But this year they've been even better. Like Luka's been even better. Reeves is taking a jump. LeBron is taking a step back, which in my opinion kind of does counteract both of those guys taking a jump. Because Luka, regardless how you felt about him last year, was debatably top. He was a top 4 player, not debatable. Oh, last year actually Luka might not have even been debatably a top 4 guy. He kind of did have a down year. Like the year prior, he was arguably top 2. Last year he kind of have a down year. I won't lie. So I don't know about that last year. Reeves, he was pretty good, but he wasn't as good as this year. LeBron was just far better than he is right now. So it's really tough to really gauge them. But I will say they kind of do. I like Jake LaRavia. I think he's a good role player. I don't really believe in Aiden, but in terms of offensively, in terms of what he gives them, I think he'll be fine. I feel like it's easy to play with Luka. I'm really thinking about it. I'll probably still put them up 1-5. And because they have that trio, I'll probably put them over the Nuggets. Then we have the Grizzlies. I'm putting the Grizzlies here, bruh. Personally, I don't think they're that good. Then we got the Heat, bruh. The Heat offensively, I honestly kind of want to put the Heat in this tier. And don't look at these numbers. These are just the tiers for now. I may even have to add another tier. I kind of want to put the Heat here, bruh. Keep it a bean. I'm honestly putting the Mavericks here. I'm honestly going to put the Heat here. I don't think they in a tier with them teams, personally. I feel like the Heat playing fast fooled people. And like I said, they broadcasted it, but I think people would have figured it out eventually. But I think the counters that they had would have been fine for what people was going to figure out. But nigga, you showed your counters and how to counter all your counters. That shit is crazy. But the issue with the Heat is, man, and this is kind of tough because I'm a Heat fan, but it's too many, like, and people, I genuinely think when people to say one-way player, they look at Hero, he's a one-way player. But they don't look at guys like Davion Mitchell as a one-way player. He's a defensive player. Now, I won't lie, playmaking, he's taking a jump, but no team on earth is literally scared of Davion Mitchell shooting. And he's been hitting his shots. So you got to give it to him. But no team on earth is scared of that. So teams, what they're doing if it's not Norman Powell, if it's not Tyler Hero, if it's not even Simone Fontecchio, you can shoot all that shit you want. Now, I won't lie. Khalil Ware had a really rough start to the year, but he actually is a good shooter. I don't think the Heat have any other good shooters. Now, Bam is actually shooting, but I think the thing with Bam is it's not really a big man in the league that can stay in front of Bam if he gets downhill. Now, that is a character flaw of Bam that he doesn't attack that thing. He was at some points, but he isn't anymore consistently. He's never done it really consistently. The thing is, to counteract that, just let him shoot. If he makes it, okay. If he doesn't, okay. So, the Heat are a tough one. I do think they have the best coach in the league, but the personnel, in my opinion, isn't crazy. Like, it'd be times where they be trying to do, like, say for instance, the original plan for the Heat was to play fast, drive, and kick. If Bam touches that ball in the post, if he, like, bro, if Bam touches the ball in the post, make or miss, the defense winning that. I'm sorry. It is facts. I'm a big Bam guy, but that is facts. Now, at the end of games, I get it. First 3 quarters, no, bro. No. Fourth quarters, okay, I get it. First 3 quarters, no. You slowing up the pace. You messing up the momentum. No. Wiggins, bro, just wrap that position up, bro. And if he makes it, W prayer. You know what I'm saying? W prayer. Jaime, I'm gonna be honest. He's the only person I get an excuse for posting up because he is literally a negative threat on the perimeter. Literally a negative threat. Like, he genuinely might as well just run down the court, seal somebody off, just hope somebody passes it to him. And if that don't work, keep cutting. Another issue with the Heat is no one is cutting. And if they do cut, they're literally not even looking for the ball. They're cutting to go across the court. So it's a lot of issues with the Heat, in my opinion. I know a lot of people try to say is that Hero came back. And I do think when Hero first came back, anytime Hero would be on the court, they would look to get Hero the ball. But the thing was, when he first came back, when he would be out the game, they would play normal. When he would come in the game, they would literally get the ball, look to Hero, and then do what they was going to do. Either give it to him or didn't do what they was going to do. Originally, it was just grab and go. That has kind of stopped. But even when he's out these games, even when he's not playing, that entire shit is not happening no more. So, yeah. I would say. And another thing, though, I will say, the Heat, especially their shooters like Norman Powell and Fontecchio. Fontecchio started the year shooting like 65% for 3. Norman Powell was shooting crazy. That shit was never going to last. It never was going to last. And, yeah, I do think that little taking the system in terms of what Spo had in terms of playing fast and playing one-on-one basketball without the screens, I do think if you have the right personnel, that is a stupid system. It is a fantastic system. We don't have the personnel to do that. And I'm gonna be honest. I said Davion. I would say he's a one-way player because I think he's a neutral offensively. Last year in the years prior he was a negative. This year he's a neutral because playmaking he actually has been improved and getting downhill. But either way, like regardless if he has 40% for 3, no one is guarding that. No one. So it's not the same as if. And I guess with volume it does change, but also if you're just shooting wide open because no one perceives you as a threat, it's completely different. It's simple as that. I don't think I need to keep going. Milwaukee Bucks. Honestly, I would say the Bucks are here. Maybe harsh on the Heat right now, but I'm gonna keep it right there. Next we have the Timberwolves. I would probably say I'm gonna lower the Bulls. I'm gonna put them in this tier. Timberwolves, I feel like it's kind of been ant or bust, but Julius Randle's been pretty good. I do feel like their role players have been a little bit more inconsistent this year without Dante DiVincenzo. What is his name? Shai cousin. Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I feel like they've not been as good, in my opinion. But I still think that they've been pretty good. It's just the West is so tough, so it's kind of hard to gauge. I'm going to say, personally for me, I'm going to say they are offense. You gotta think about it. It is offensively. I'm gonna say they're 6-10. The issue with the Timberwolves is that their role players, I trust them. I genuinely trust their role players in terms of Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Rudy Gobert. Maybe not as much him. In terms of his role though, game, like he can't just roll and dunk the damn ball though. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. His hands are kind of crazy. His finishing is crazy too. So I don't know. Rudy is maybe a stretch. But I just trust their role players more than these other teams. Like, comparing their role player, like Jay McDaniels. I just trust their role players more than all these other teams. So I could see, like, even when you think about the Thunder role players offensively, when you get past J-Dub and Shai, I just trust them Timberwolves role players more. personally, especially to beat they man one-on-one. I do. And they've been doing that. They've been asked to do that a little bit more this year. So I would say the Timberwolves are there. Like, if I'm looking, only team I would argue the Timberwolves role players with is probably the Hawks. To be real, yeah, it'd probably be the Hawks. So, yeah. Next, we have the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans actually have a pretty solid offense this year. I would put the Pelicans. I'll put the Pelicans here. I think the Pelicans offensively are actually pretty good. I think the defense is kind of the issue, kind of another thing, like I was saying. But I think the offense is actually good. Especially when you think about the Derek Queen and the Jeremiah Fears. I actually like those two guys. I said at the draft, Jeremiah Fears, I said he remind me of D Rose without the bounce. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's looking good, but I ain't gonna lie. I be seeing some other comps for him. I'm gonna be honest. I see somebody say Dame. I don't see that shit at all. Personally. But that's just me though. Next we got the Knicks. Now the Knicks is a tough one. Now I ain't gonna lie. Them beating the Spurs wouldn't that surprise me, because I think teams like the way that the Spurs and the Thunder are built, I think they're just going to struggle with teams that's going to be extremely good rebounders, which is why they struggled with the Nuggets in the playoffs. And I think if they play the Rockets this year, they may struggle, where the Rockets genuinely could beat them. That would be a very interesting series with the Rockets, honestly. But the Knicks are another team like that. And they're going to get extra possessions. And the thing with the Knicks, you can guarantee, I'm going to be honest, I like Jalen Brunson. He might be the most overrated player in the league right now, bro. I'm not going to lie. The only reason he can get this game off where he just gets as many shots up as possible is because that team is going to get rebounds. They are. Now, honestly, I'm going to be real. I trust their role players more than other role players too. It's kind of a similar situation to the Timberwolves. But the thing with the Timberwolves, I like Ant, but I trust Jalen Brunson offensively more than I do Ant. I don't know if I believe that shit. I said it and I had to think about it. That's a tough one. Because Ant, I'm going to be honest, has been very good this year offensively. Especially scoring. Because it's not like outside of scoring, neither one is like crazy playmakers in my opinion. I may even, but Jalen Brunson not the crazy athletic, but he can get to the paint at will. He's really crafty. Ant is just very athletic and get to the rim on really anybody. It just comes down to the mindset with him. Does he want to do it? I'm going to say the Knicks. You could argue the Knicks go 1-5 because the X factor in this is Towns. They're just very similar to the Timberwolves. I low-key trust the Timberwolves role players more, so I'm gonna go Timberwolves over them. Then we have the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder have the best offense in the league, but they might. I'm not gonna lie. Looking at these teams, they genuinely might have the best offense in the league. Looking at this, they genuinely might. But I do think like a lot of their offense is kind of predicated off their defense. But it's kind of like what I said with the Rockets. They're gonna get those, like that turnover shit. That's their possession battle. That's how they're gonna win the possession battle. It's kind of, so if I'm gonna factor that, I gotta factor in transition offense. They're gonna get a lot of easy buckets in transition, but in terms of half-court offenses, which is really what I should have made this shit be, that would be a different convo for a lot of these teams. Like the Rockets would not be that high at all. Low key, I'm gonna make that this. I do think Jalen Brunson is a better half-court player than Andy Edwards. I probably would argue the Pistons are better than the Timberwolves in the half-court offense. I'll probably keep that like that, and now lower the Rockets down here to the Clippers, personally. And then I'll probably keep them here. I would probably lower all these teams. Maybe not this team. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I probably lower these teams. And then I probably raise these teams. And that'll probably be how I do it. In terms of half-court offenses, I think that's what I should have been doing. Because all that extra stuff is just different. Like, offensive rebound is rebounding. It does impact offense. But how easy it is for you to score on a possession base offensively is what we gonna do. So if you're getting more possessions from offensive rebounds, cool. If you're getting more possession from turnovers, cool. But if we talking just possession basis, that's what we're gonna do. So Thunder, I don't think y'all are on the level of the Lakers or Nuggets. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really trust y'all role players to the level offensively as I do the Knicks or the Timberwolves, or really probably the Hawks and the Thunder are more relative, I would say. But they're so good defensively that would make up for it, and Shai is just ridiculous. Shai is genuinely ridiculous. Now, the thing is, what people don't really understand with Shai this year, bro, I don't think y'all really realize, bro. It is 10 times more. That was going to be a bad sentence. It is 10 times easier to be efficient as a big man than it is as a guard. What Shai is doing as a guard, efficiency-wise this year, is ridiculous. Now, I've always said for years that Luka's a better offensive player, but Shai shot diet is what genuinely, in terms of being a scorer, it might genuinely put him over. It might put him over Luka. Because Luka's shot diet is horrible. It's horrible, but he's that talented. That's the issue with Luka. In my opinion, I think Luka offensively is definitely more talented, and scoring wise too. It's just a shot diet, bro. And the thing is, I would say he probably have a better IQ, but it's kind of hard to say that when he don't really play like it, bro. He just does that, and I do think that's the big difference between the two. And then they got J-Dub coming back. That's gonna give them a factor. I like Mitchell, AJ Mitchell. I like him. Chet, my gripe with Chet is that he genuinely don't play like he the number 2 pick. He has the talent. That's the sickest part. He has the talent. He literally just plays like a role player. And if they want to go beyond, I think he needs to do that. But hey, bro, I'm gonna keep it being, bro. They may have a top 5 pick in a generational draft this year, so maybe they get somebody better than him. I don't know, bro. This Thunder shit is ignorant. I'm gonna be honest. It is ignorant. I'm gonna say. Whew. I may gotta put them over. I'm gonna put them in here. I'm gonna put them in here for now. But I'm gonna drop the Celtics down because the Celtics is a tough one because what they're gonna do is they're gonna get threes up. I just don't think they have a playmaker to be in this tier personally. But if Ant is in there, I guess I'll throw them in there actually. Yeah, I'll throw them in there. Yeah. No. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm gonna throw them down there. Then I probably gotta lower the Bucks too. Next we got the Magic. This genuinely depends on what Magic team we talking about. Right now, today, since we're doing it right now today, and I've been doing it for every team, Franz is out. That is a significantly worse team. Now, if we was doing this a couple weeks ago, where Franz was playing and other dude was out, we'd be having a different conversation on both ends of the ball. But this team gets worse on both ends of the ball when it's the opposite, and when they're together. So, I'm gonna have to say, for me, the Magic. The thing is with the Magic, I like their role players a lot. I actually like their role players. I just don't. They actually got playmakers too. That's the issue with the Magic as well, bro. I ain't gonna lie, the Magic, Celtics, and Bulls may be their own tier. I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna do their own tier for them, and then I'm gonna start a whole another tier under them. And that's where these 3 teams gonna go. I think that's just fair. And I'm gonna actually drop the Hawks in this tier. Nah, yeah. Pistons looking at me, bro. I'm gonna keep it me. I'm dropping you too. Offensively. I'm thinking about it. Oh, no. Because Trey came back today. Yeah, okay. They got real playmakers over there. That's going them over the head. Now, the Timberwolves bring you down. I could argue the Bulls is up here. I won't lie. Their defense is kind of what let them down. Honestly, I could argue that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I could genuinely argue that. Watching the Bulls, they play good offense. They defense is terrible though. Honestly, I'm getting that take off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm putting the Bulls up there. People gonna be mad about that, but their defense is genuinely awful. Their defense is just genuinely awful. I can't lie. I may need to start doing these numbers, but for now, I'm gonna keep it like this. Low key, I don't think there's gonna be another team that goes up there. So we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna go 3, 2. Man, that bullshit do not look right. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit do not look right. Okay, I'm bringing them up. Oh, okay, hold on. Now I'm really deep in it. What I'm doing. Now I'm really deep in it. I'm not gonna lie. Clippers, you going down. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all may gotta go down, Clippers. I'm giving y'all too much credit. Keep it a bean. I'm giving y'all too much credit. I'm gonna bring the heat up. I'm really looking at this like, okay, cause I was doing this different to start than how I'm doing it now, so I'm really confusing myself. I'm really doing like 2 different timelines together. I'm really trying to stay consistent with it. I'm just doing it based off half-court offenses. Okay, hold on. No. Okay, now we need to change some things back. Okay, Clippers. I'm really thinking about it though. Nah, I'm lowering them here. Yeah, I like this tier. I'm chilling on. I can't do it. I can't put them up there. I'll keep this here for now. Next, we got the 76ers. This is another team that's really, in terms of offensively, because I'm thinking about how bad these teams are in my head at the same time, but this is just ranking these teams offensively is what I got to figure this, which is I got to keep consistent. The 76ers are genuinely one of the better offenses in the league as well. So, I would honestly say they have a better offense than the Magic. I don't think they have a better offense than anybody else above them, but I think they have a better offense than the Magic. Suns for me, I think the Suns have like a middle of the pack offense personally. I would probably put them here. I'd probably put the Heat here. Yeah, I think that makes sense to me personally. And then we have the Trailblazers. Trailblazers aren't a good offensive team in my opinion. I think they're more a defensive team. I think the thing with the Trailblazers is they try to play with pace, which is cool. I think they've actually been able to consistently play with pace this year. But I do think that is starting to factor into their defense more than it is to their offense. So they're a tough one to kind of gauge. But I do think they're actually not a bad offense this year either. But I think they are more offensive. So I'm going to say the Trailblazers are here. I'm going to say they're here. Alright, next we have the Kings. Yeah, they're really bad. I'm actually going to put the Nets up here with them too. Keep it being. I'm going to put the Nets up there. Then we have the Spurs. Be honest, the Spurs not that good of an offensive team either. They're more of like a defensive team, in my opinion. The thing is with them, they kind of had that guard shit where they got multiple guards on the court at all times. They don't really play with forwards a lot, but all those guards can break you down. They can win they one-on-one, and then that's creating advantages for other guys. They have a lot of... The thing is, they kind of maximize how many advantage creators they have on the court while having double big. Which is kind of... I'm not going to spoil, but that's kind of... It kind of makes it tougher to gauge them. Kind of like the Thunder, in my opinion. I think they low-key... The thing is, I think they're building that shit better. Because, like, Wemby is going to be better than any of those bigs that the Thunder have. And then... I genuinely think Dylan Harper and Castle gonna be really, 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 really good. To the fact that I think if Giannis is available, I'm trading boxing picks. I'm not trading either one of those guys. And I think that's a unit over there. But who am I? You know, who's saying who am I? Throwing in like Sohan, you know, saying Carter Bryant maybe can go. Them two guards, they ain't going nowhere, brother. And I ain't gonna lie, the thing is, I don't really want the Spurs to do that because if they trade they picks, who the hell is competing with OKC? And don't say the Jazz. Don't say that shit. Please don't say that. Do not say the Jazz. Maybe in 2032, but not right now. Hell no. Not for the next 5 years. No way. I'm gonna say Spurs. I don't think they have that good of an offense, but in terms of their half-court offense, it is hard to stop. That's what I'm thinking about. It is kind of hard to stop their offense. I'm going to actually put them pretty high because their offense is actually pretty hard to stop. So it actually is a good offense. In theory, it's not good. Watching it is not good, but it is. They have a consistent offense because what they want to do, they can do consistently. A lot of these teams don't really have anything consistent that they want to do. Like the Rockets, like I said, this is what I'm saying. If you're talking about half-court offense, what they're most so focused on offensively is getting shots up and getting the rebound and getting more possessions. When it comes to the Thunder, they want Shai to go one-on-one. It's the same thing as the Spurs. It's just they have Shai in comparison to anybody you talk about on the Spurs. But outside of Shai, those guards aren't as good as the guards on the Spurs. Now, you can say J-Dub. He's better than probably any of those guards they got on the Spurs. D. Fox's debates in terms of if you want to talk about creating for himself offensively. I think defensively is where J-Dub is gapping. But yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, they're in the same tier offensively, personally. Then when it comes to the Raptors, personally, not a good offensive team to me at all, personally watching them. I think that they got, the thing with the Raptors is they're built really well. They have a very good defense, and they have a closer. And they have size. That's another thing. They have really good size at every position. So depending on what you're playing against, they can take advantage of their size offensively. And they have a closer with BI. So that's a very, very big thing for them this year. So I would probably say the Raptors are more so probably maybe capping on the Clippers, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking of Harden, but that Clippers offense ain't been good this year. Yeah, I'm lowering the Clippers. I'm putting them with the Warriors. I'm lowering the Clippers, but I do think they've been better than them. The Raptors, I'm gonna actually say is here. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. The Jazz are genuinely, debatably a top 2-tier team. They genuinely have multiple. They have literally nothing but offensive players on that team that play, in terms of people that play. Especially with Walker Kessler being injured, they genuinely don't have anything but that. But the thing with them that's really tough right now, Laurie is injured, so I can't really gauge them with that. I may be being inconsistent with some of this because I did put the 76ers kind of high with Maxey being out, so kind of what it is. I acknowledge that, so somebody's gonna probably, but I'm gonna say Jazz. I personally probably would say the Jazz are here. I probably would say they're here, and then we have the Wizards. I don't know where the hell to put the Wizards, man, for any side of the ball, personally. I know they're really, really... I think they're having, like, an all-time bad season defensively. Yeah, they are, but they're also still not good offensively, which is crazy. This is genuinely one of the worst teams of all time. That's hilarious. This is genuinely one of the worst teams ever. That's hilarious. I'm going to say the Wizards are... Yeah, not even gonna beat it. Low-key may get him a tier they own. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get him a tier they own. I'm gonna go there. All right, so we got 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8. Then we got starting at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we got 15. Then we got 16. 2, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 22, 25, 26, 27. Just making sure. Then we have 28, 29. Then in a tier of their own, we have the Wizards at 30. Now, we're going to make this look cute, you know what I'm saying, for video purposes. So, I know it's going to be people that just skip to the end. Not probably going to fully understand my reasonings, but hey, shout out to the people that do that. But yeah, that's the tier list, bro. That's the tier list, man. We got, that low-key kind of like not a pyramid, but that's kind of how I kind of gauge the offenses in the league right now. I will be doing the same thing defensively. I think defense is a lot easier than offense because a lot of these teams, in my opinion, offenses is not really predicated off of trying to play half-court offense, especially with how fast a lot of these teams are playing, to the point that a lot of these teams don't even really play a half-court offense in the regular season. In the playoffs, that's going to matter, though, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my tier list. Y'all do want more, like the video, subscribe if you're new. Without further ado, man, it's your boy Fitz. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!